Whee! One of those random thoughts, alright? Get ready. Whee! Sunshine! I think this is the longest bridge I've seen in South America so far. This is Cherry, my KTM 390 adventure, and me, Aliona. And in this season we continue our travels around South America. Good morning! Cherry and I are ready to go. Let's ride! Ciao ciao! Que te vaya súper bien. Oof. Traffic. You can see it rained all night. Like it's starting to dry a little bit now, but when I went for breakfast today morning, it was all pure mud. Very, very slippery mud. Alright, almost out on the main road. Well, not the main road, the main road of the town. So yeah, Mompiche seems to be a little pretty surf town, but it gets super muddy in the rain in the off season. And according to Ramon, the guy we just saw, the weather is going to stay pretty much the same, if not worse. So yeah, we're expecting kind of more rain today. Oh well, that's life. Here is the main road. You can see it's not in a much better condition than the one we've just been on. I guess it's just like this around this area. Too many dirt roads, so the dirt from these dirt roads gets carried to the main road. And yeah, this is the highway. This is the Troncal del Pacifico. Super pretty and a little bit slippery. Yesterday in the last episode I mentioned that my friend whom I met in Cuenca last year, oh look how beautiful, he's staying in Montanitos. Yeah, I would really like to spend a couple of days there. Ooh, amazing. And yeah, from Mompiche, where I was this morning, to Montanitos, it's about 7 hours ride. And I think 7 hours is a little bit too much for one day's ride, so I want to split the ride to Montanitos into 2 days, because to do 7 hours ride before 6 p.m. you have to start at 7-8 a.m. which is of course possible. I've done this before, but I also kind of wanted to chat to Ramon this morning, and we ended up having breakfast together. And yeah, this is actually another topic that I find very interesting. One of those random thoughts, alright? Get ready. When traveling, you get attached to people very quickly. Like, for example, Ramon, I only met him yesterday afternoon. Like, it's not even been 24 hours since I first met him. But I already feel he's a friend, you know? And yesterday he gave me a little present, like a new bracelet I've got here. And I asked him to make a spork for me, you know, this kind of what do you even call it, you know, it has a spoon on one side and fork on the other side, and he did. And yeah, while he was manufacturing my little spork from bamboo, we spent probably a couple of hours talking about everything, about traveling, about Ecuador, about Peru, about surfing. He surfs as well. And today, less than 24 hours later, I already feel he is my friend, you know. Like in normal life, when you're not traveling, if you meet a person one day, you don't really call them a friend. It's just a person you randomly met. But when traveling, one meeting is enough to become friends. Like my friend I'm going to visit in Montanitos tomorrow. Like, he's a friend. he's most definitely a friend. And yeah, I've known him for almost a year, you know. Such a long time. He feels like a friend of a lifetime now. And later this week I'm going to meet Dan, who's also a friend of a lifetime. And we've done so many rides together, like we had an amazing time last year. So yeah, that was one random thought. I hope you enjoyed it. With all this beautiful scenery and no rain. I'm so happy it's not raining today. It's almost like clearing up. Amazing. And Alena is in a good mood again. Look at this amazing transport service. Amazing. Oh my god. You would never see this in Europe, would you? Maybe in Eastern Europe, maybe somewhere like in Albania or something. And I'm not making this up, it's because I've actually traveled all Europe. Also Albania. But I love it, I love it. And I really miss it when I am in Europe. Like this whole drone rescue story from a few days ago. Like, you would never rescue that drone in Europe. People would just say like, forget about it, you know? It's gone. Nobody would ever climb on a sketchy roof like that, risking their lives. But here people risk their lives every day. In many, many different ways. Change of scenery. A bit less of a jungle. A bit more dry. And tiny little bit of blue sky up there. Look at that. I can almost feel the sunshine, you know? I can almost see it. Woo! Sunshine! Oh my god, just one day without sun and I already miss it. I remember my days in Denmark where during the winter sometimes you don't see any sunshine for like months. And for me it's just so frustrating. I think it's one of the main reasons that I actually left Denmark. Started traveling, started nomading. I just couldn't survive those winters without sunshine. Like, I'm not a big fan of cold, but at the same time I'd rather have cold than lack of sun, than complete darkness. And now we're pretty much entering the town of Pedernales, it's called. This is the place from which a French expedition set off in 1736, if I'm not mistaken, to determine the equatorial line of Earth. See? Pedernales, the sign says. Let's just quickly pass by the beach here in Pedernales. Pedernales, the origin of the name of Ecuador. And the beach. This is very interesting. We've done only about 100 kilometers since we left Mompiche, but this looks like a whole different climate zone. Look, not nearly as green. The trees are different. No palm trees. No jungle. I'm pretty dry. Well, I'm very glad the road is dry, of course. But it's so weird to see how different the nature has become. I'm wondering what caused it to be so different here. And look, it suddenly got green again. And also I can feel that the temperature has dropped. So a bit cooler, and much greener. Really cool. I mean, really interesting. And also, I can feel and I can see that the area here is getting more and more touristy. Like there are less of those kind of, you know, authentic villages that we saw yesterday along the road. And there are more like resorts and restaurants, and everything is looking much prettier, except for the road quality. Like the pavement is absolutely horrible. I mean, here it's alright, but there are so many parts with gigantic potholes and yeah, like part of the road missing and all that. Which is kind of weird, right? So the area is getting more touristy, but the road is getting worse. And welcome to Canoa. Let's take a look at the beach. Here's the beach. Alright. Interesting. Oh no, it's not so sandy. This is pretty firm. A kind of lake that I can just ride along the beach. That's pretty amazing. The beach is kind of empty. The ocean is pretty messy, so probably no swimming or surfing today. But yeah, let's stop for a quick look. A little bit of sun never hurt nobody, right? Ooh, we're riding onto the beach. Right onto the beach. I'm not going into deep sand, but I think I can stay here for a tiny little bit. Pretty awesome, right?
De Canoa, bienvenido. Buen sabor a coco aquí de Canoa. Felicidad para su viaje.
Muchas gracias. Whew. That was a nice coconut break. Gave me some energy. And I think I can continue for another hour or so. Ooh. And look, one more change of scenery. And we're riding right next to the ocean. This is looking pretty good. Maybe I should stop for a photo as well. Just a quick one. Look how pretty. Although I can see a little bit of rain there. And now look at this. Trash, trash, trash. More trash. So sad to see all this trash along the coast. Now we'll be crossing this long bridge. I think this is the longest bridge I've seen in South America so far. Wow. Oh wow. Pretty awesome. Definitely more fancy looking than the towns we've seen lately. A pretty city, I would say. Long, broad road. I'm surprised. Yeah, look at this road. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just full of potholes. And some of them are pretty big. And this last part of the road really reminds me of Senegal. Like, look, some kind of baobab looking trees around. A little bit grayish or dryish. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why, but yeah, since the bridge I've been having this kind of Senegal flashbacks. I rode there, what was it, 3 years ago? Morocco, Mauritania, Senegal and the Gambia. Wow, that was one hell of a trip together with the bee. And it's not very often that I have flashbacks to that trip. Not many places remind me of that journey. But for some reason this one does. Oh yeah, just 1 kilometer left. Now we're arriving to some kind of town, beach town. Getting closer to the ocean again, as you can see on the map. The name of the town is San Clemente. Kind of like it. Less touristy,